The September jobs report comes in hotter than expected. Democrats claim that President Trump called for the execution of Democrat senators who called for insurrection and sedition. And Zohran Mamdani, the socialist, flips his tune on Donald Trump. I'm Tony Kinnett for the Daily Signal's Tony Kinnett Cast, syndicated nationally at 7 p.m. Eastern. It is Friday, November 21st, 2025. This is the Daily Signal's top news in 10. After over a month of the government shutdown, the September jobs report has finally come in, and it is just a bit hotter than was expected. The United States added 119,000 jobs in September, above expectations of a gain of 53,000. The unemployment rate did rise to 4.4%, above expectations of 4.3%, and unemployment, therefore, is now at its highest since October 2021. Now, the next jobs report will not come out until December 16th due to the government shutdown, which is 6 days after the Federal Open Market Committee's next meeting. Here's CNBC on the initial data.
Now, if we look at what's going on with the unemployment rate, it ticked up from 4.3 to 4.4. That was unexpected. 4.4 would... Last time we were at that level, boy, I have to go back a ways. October of 2021, when it was 4.5%. Now, if we look at labor force participation rate, it ticked up. That's a good thing. 62.4 equals where we were in May. You have to go to April of this year when it was 62.6 to find a higher number. In terms of the earnings, average hourly earnings, month over month, up 0.2. That's a bit on the weak side. We're expecting up 0.3.
And here is White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt.
In economic news, the September jobs report showed the American economy remains strong, with 119,000 new jobs added, more than double expectations. These gains came after the summer passage of President Trump's historic tax cuts and multiple big trade deals with countries around the world. In particular, construction jobs surged by 19,000 in September, the largest monthly gain in a year. Nearly all of this solid monthly job growth came from the private sector and went to Americans rather than foreign-born workers, the opposite of what we saw under the previous administration. Inflation also remains under control, and wages are up by 3.8% over the year for American workers because of President Trump's pro-growth policies. In fact, real wages are on pace to increase roughly $1,200 for the average worker this year under President Trump. This is a complete reversal of the failed Biden era, when we saw inflation skyrocket to 9%, causing private sector workers to see their wages decline by approximately $3,000. We know that Americans are still hurting from the 4-decade high inflation caused by Joe Biden and the Democrats, but President Trump is making significant progress to fix this, and he will not stop working until he solves it. As the president recently stated, he is never satisfied.
Meanwhile, Democrats from around the country are now claiming that President Trump has called for the execution of Democrat senators and representatives in the House who have called for insurrection and sedition by a previous video. Here's that video the president later referenced.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris Deluzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
and the intelligence community
who take risks each day
to keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens. Like us, you all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
And right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
but from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law
or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
the Army,
or Navy,
the Air Force,
your vigilance is critical.
And know that we have your back.
We
Because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws,
our Constitution,
and who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up.
don't give up the ship.
On Truth Social, the president posted, quote, "Each one of these traitors to our country should be arrested and put on trial. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. We won't have a country anymore. An example must be set." Now, in the original video posted by the Democrats in Congress encouraging military members to disobey orders if they perceived something to be against the oath they took to the Constitution, this does in fact violate 18 U.S. Code's sections on sedition and encouraging military members to participate in mutiny and insurrection. And it is in fact right next to the section and a subsection of, technically, that of sedition in the United States, which is illegal. That said, here was Senator Chuck Schumer moaning about it.
Earlier today, Donald Trump shared a post on Truth Social calling for Democratic members of Congress to be hanged. He also posted a message that said, "Seditious behavior, punishable by death." Let's be crystal clear. The President of the United States is calling for the execution of elected officials. This is an outright threat, and it's deadly serious. We have already seen what happens when Donald Trump tells his followers that his political opponents are enemies of the state. Every time Donald Trump posts things like this, he makes political violence more likely. None of us should tolerate this kind of behavior. We all remember what January 6th was like. We lived through January 6th. We have lived through the assassination and attempted assassinations this year. We have members whose families have had to flee their homes. When Donald Trump uses the language of execution and treason, some of his supporters may very well listen. He is lighting a match in a country soaked with political gasoline. Every senator, every representative, every American, regardless of party, should condemn this immediately and without qualification. Because if we don't draw a line here, there is no line left to draw. Who would have thought the President of the United States saying his opponents should be hanged? It's outrageous. No president has ever stooped as low as Donald Trump. None. He has made political violence a feature of his politics. And if we don't draw a line here, there's no line left to draw. And yet today he crossed yet another line that no democracy can afford to tolerate. He must be condemned forcefully, loudly, and without excuses before someone takes his words as permission to do the unthinkable. Anything less enables the flames of hatred to grow and spread.
And also one of the stars of that video, former CIA officer Elissa Slotkin of Michigan.
I'm Senator Elissa Slotkin, senator from Michigan, former CIA officer. Earlier today, President Trump threatened myself and a number of other service and veteran lawmakers with arrest, trial, and death because he didn't agree with a video we put out this week. This really isn't about those of us who made the video. This is about who we are as Americans and how we're going to engage with people who we disagree with. I would hope that people of all backgrounds, Democrat, Republican, Independent, would agree that threatening death for people you disagree with is beyond the pale of who we are as Americans.
And then, of course, finally, the comment from the White House press secretary, Carolyn Leavitt.
If this were Republican members of Congress who were encouraging members of the military and members of our United States government to defy orders from the president and from the chain of command, this entire room would be up in arms. But instead, it is the other way around, and I think that's quite telling.
And last but not least, Zohran Mamdani, the mayor-elect of New York City, a Democrat socialist, and an individual who has promoted various Marxist ideas for the city, has now gone from saying, quote, "I will be Donald Trump's worst nightmare," end quote, to saying, quote, "I intend to tell President Trump that I will work with him," end quote. Check it out.
My administration would be Donald Trump's worst nightmare. I have many disagreements with the president. And I believe that we should be relentless and pursue all avenues and all meetings that could make our city affordable for every single New Yorker. I intend to make it clear to President Trump that I will work with him on any agenda that benefits New Yorkers.
Before you go, head down to the description and make sure you're subscribed to the Tony Kinnett Cast. And join us tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern live, where we'll be here in our nation's capital with Newsmax's own Rob Carson to discuss a few of the events like Zohran Mamdani arm wrestling with the President of the United States and a bit more in the week's news and nonsense roundup. I'm Tony Kinnett, and this has been the Daily Signal's top news in 10. Take care.